Hello and welcome to episode 227 of GI Joburg. Sky Striking. My name is Steve. I'm joined by Paul, Rob, and Cujo. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Robert.
Hello.
Hello, Stephen. Hello.
And West Coast correspondent Cujo. Hello, brother.
Internationally known, locally disrespected.
Oof.
You know how it is.
It's the triple time zone shock. I'm seeing 2200 on the clock over here. I think South Africa is in the 1400 zone, and Cujo, you're in the 0400 hour.
Right, you are.
Damn.
Whatever that is.
What is
Hurts is what it is. It's not human. But he's here, ladies and gentlemen. He's here to talk to us about JoeVember and the art bonanza that it was. We are also going to do a very topical thing on GI Joburg. Like, I like these podcasts to be kind of timeless, which is why we have kind of a random grab bag of topic of the week. But we situate ourselves right now, as of recording, on the 5th of December 2021. There are, I think, 3 days remaining on the Skystriker HasLab. We've just surpassed 6,000 backers, and things are looking interesting. There are new incentives added. This is a very, very interesting time to be not only a Joe collector, but like a collector of toys in general. It seems like we are in a position of power at long last. Anyway, we're going to get into that. First up, gents, new shit. Talk to me.
Yay! This has been a great week for new shit for me. So let me start off with. So I got a really nice little parcel in the mail. It was something that started a couple of months ago. A local dealer has been sort of storing stuff for me and waiting for things to get in his possession before he sent them to me, and that was about 6 months ago. So the one item I finally have in my possession is this mysterious baggie with a toy in.
Drugs?
No,
Crystal
better.
meth.
No, much better.
It's a Ziploc baggie of like, looks like white substance.
In-
I know it looks very, very dodge, but this is your birthday present, Stephen. So I wanted to start off with that.
Party.
It's in my hand. White lines. Anyway, so I thought I'd just show you that. I don't want to reveal it to people because that'll be your privilege when you have it in hand. Hopefully before we have flying cars. And then I went to my local toy store because on Facebook somebody had posted, they've got them in stock at Toy Zone. So of course, so I dashed off to Toy Zone, and this is actually the picture I took after I grabbed the figures that I wanted, so that I could just let the rest of the fan base know where to get them from. And I had to go all the way to Toy Zone in Four Ways, which is a good, 10, 15 kilometers away from where I stay. So that was fun.
For anyone not privy to the YouTube version, we got Buzz Off, we got 2 flavors of Stratos, we got Triclops, we got Sorceress, we've got Eternia Sorceress. Is that what she's been called?
Oh, the Eternian Goddess, yeah. I always call her the
Eternian.
Green Goddess, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So it's Tila in green. Beastman, Clamp Champ, and Ram Man. Ram Man!
Yeah, Clamp Champ and Ram Man are the South African peg warmers, but not really because they just keep restocking these two. Because God works in mysterious ways. One thing I'll say, I avoided buying Porn Star Stratos. That's the non-grey version. Because it looks so dodge. And while I was on my little exciting toy mission, I ran into some other friends of mine. Transformers! You know? And so they've got a juicy
disguise. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. Yeah, Eddie's power metal in the hizzy.
And yeah, so they had Trax and Waspinator and a Panther character, which is basically just Cheetor with a different head. And as you guys can imagine, I had trouble. I was wrestling with this. I sent off pictures in our WhatsApp group, and I was just I was just excited. I was super excited. But I'm gonna get into which Transformer I bought just now. So yeah, so I got home and I opened up my new He-Man figures. So I grabbed Jitsu, but I gave him some. I gave them some fun Afrikaans names. So I've called him PK Man or Pusklap Man because of that fucking hand. And
Is
for
Jitsu
our
supposed to be like red, or is this just your strange photography skills?
no, he is actually quite red. He's got quite reddish skin. It jumped out at me as well when I saw it in packaging. My camera has made it a little bit more red than it is, but it was quite red to begin with. He drinks a lot.
Sweet.
This has been a difficult. This has been a difficult 2 year push club. If you guys are wondering what that means, it's a very horrible word for a slap. Anyway, then I got the Sorceress, yay! Which is a figure I've been very excited about. I also like to call her Tannie Lekker Blaar Rook. She because she's very psychedelic, so she obviously partakes in the fun.
1,000 GI Joburg points to anyone who knows what Tannie Lekker Blaar Rook means.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if
No
you can.
cheating,
if-
Dutchman.
Yeah, no cheating. Put it in the comments. Maybe I could send you a prize. Maybe it's a He-Man prize. We'll see. And then Buzz Off, which I just affectionately called Michi. These are the names I gave them when I sent pictures to Celia. That I'd found them and I was really excited.
You know that
Buzz
the
Off.
Brits and the Aussies call Michi's midgies. Like, literally, it's the direct translation without the Hey?
Wow, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
learn
like
something
this
every
toy.
day.
I like this toy. I think he's very cool. He's definitely a lot more interesting than I was expecting. The bra on the head thing is a bit strange.
Buzz Off's head bra. It's his
Yeah.
headlights, man. What are they supposed to
Yeah.
be? Goggles.
I can only imagine that's what they're meant to be. And
They're
then
not
we
fit
are,
more flush to his face because what you're showing me, they are sitting
No,
like a
that's-
bra.
that's as far as I can get them down. I haven't put these in the bath yet, so maybe if I put them in some hot water, I can get them down a bit more. I don't know. We'll find out. Here on GI Joburg. And then I was stuck. I was like, am I gonna buy this one, or am I gonna buy?
Autobot
one.
tracks or Waspinator. Come on, Paul.
Yeah.
This is radio. at
No,
the
no,
end of the
I was
day.
getting there. It was my dramatic build up. So it was like, yes, was it going to be Autobot, because the Transformer had to come home with me. Was it going to be Autobot tracks or Autobot should I say Predacon Waspinator? Waspinator. And I am sorry to say that I took home tracks.
Boo to that.
Because Trax is a fun character, and all that, and I was really excited. I was like, a lot of the pictures I had seen had sort of sold this figure to me in a different way, and I was just really excited to have my own Trax, and because he's G1, and immediately that's going to get my attention because I wanted something G1, and it was close, that I almost took Waspinator. But ultimately, only one could come home with me, and I'm just a little disappointed because he's got a lot of great stuff going on for him. With a lot of equally bad and negative stuff going on for him. His transformation, for starters, it's a little bit annoying. It's almost binal techy, like alternator type transformation. And he feels a little bit fragile, so I'm a little bit scared of messing with him too much. And he also, his parts don't sit super flush. I've managed to futz around with it enough to get it looking cool, but I still don't think it's a perfect figure. And this Waspinator, when you see this, for our listeners, if you guys have had a chance to check out Waspinator in the flesh, he's just so 90s green. He's just such a great... It just has that energy. I was just really excited about this. I blame Steven with his recent Black Arachnia.
Wait, I'm confused, Paul. Which one did you
Yeah.
come home with?
Tracks.
Okay.
And
Well,
now I'm...
Waspinator, your day will come. I hope he's still available when you get around to it, bro.
Yeah, I've at least seen him at 3 different places now, which is great. So, the odds are in my favor. But also, I'm trying not to spend money on myself. I would really like to buy stuff for other people, like Celia and my
Good
folks.
luck with that.
Yeah, I know, it's hard. Anyway, so moving right along, the next cool thing I got is GI Joe related. Yay! And no, it's not airtight. And it's still not. It's this bad boy here. What do they call him? The monster.
Paul.
Keep wanting to call him the monster viper, but it's the bio viper.
Very good.
And-
The mutated eels, part of the
So
evil foe of the Mega
Fascinating.
Marines. Like, what would you call them? Like, this is my issue with some of the subgroups, is that the Cobra side didn't get their own name. Like, who do the Eco Warriors fight? And who do the Mega Marines fight? Like, they should have had a name for, like, the monster core or whatever. And they should have
Yeah,
had a
I
name
agree.
for the evil pollution force or whatever. Like, that is a terrible name, but that's a placeholder.
Evil Pollution Force. You should work for
Cesspool and the
Hasbro.
boys. The Toxo zombies.
But yeah, that's Bio Viper is quite a lot of fun.
What's he like? Not
He's like a-
articulated. but
Yeah, his
does he
articulation
integrate
is a
well?
bit. Come again?
Does he integrate well with GI Joe, or does
I
it feel
feel he
like
does.
you've got a Masters of the Universe figure?
No.
I was gonna say he's a great crossover figure between He-Man and GI Joe.
I don't know, man. If they
I
had
dig-
O-rings, if they had similar articulation, but they were just oversized GI Joe style figures, I think I'd have been far more embracing of them as I was and still am. But I'm glad you enjoy it.
I'm digging it. It's cool to have something to shoot at. And finally, my awesome lowlight has his gear now.
Very good.
Except for the knife. I still need a knife, but I can get one of those knives from a like a Mega Marine purchase, because I think the Mega Marines also came with lowlight version 3's knife.
Yeah, in various different colors. You would find
But-
an orange one with Star Brigade payload,
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
but you'd find a silver one with GI Joe vs Cobra 2002 Flint, aka
I do
Atomic
remember-
Stomp Flint. Hey Rob.
Yeah.
I do remember having a black knife for this lowlight at one stage, but it didn't come from this lowlight because I never owned him. But guys, I'm not gonna lie, this version of lowlight has never been my like absolute favorite version. But my word has that
JD
changed.
Onesies shaking his fist at you right now.
No, I get that, but I gotta
From the
say,
ether.
with his helmet and his gear, elevated him right up there. I'm not gonna go and say he's my favoritist or whatever, but he's a damn cool toy. And that gun is one of my favorite guns in the line.
Yeah, I'm
Easy,
feeling
easy.
that muzzle. It's looking good.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have made a list, a slightly more dynamic shot to show the gun off better, but just really, really dig this toy. He's so much fun. I always felt the helmet was too big, but when you have it in hand, it's actually not so bad. And then, and here's just a few glamour shots of my Motu stuff. Yeah, there's the Sorceress, and there's, Bra Head Buzz Off, and there's PK again. And here's my other cool thing. That's right, that ass. Ladies and gentlemen, I finally have Baroness's backpack and Baroness's gun, which is awesome to have. The only problem is that I don't think her gun is very cool. Now that I've...
She
I
made
don't know
great
what-
hearts, but that gun might break some thumbs.
Yeah, it freaks me out. It seems too big for her. It always looks smaller when I see it in pictures, like when it's individually photographed, and it does. But yeah, it's not the prettiest gun, but hey, I've got a complete Baroness now. That makes me very happy. Speaking of that ass. Bio Viper. It's just there for. But like the sculpting on these Bio Vipers is very cool. Like I dig how much like effort was put into like the head sculpts and the little details. And this chest, I don't know why, but I keep thinking I've seen this before on a GI Joe figure, like I just can't find it.
Feels
It's bugging me.
mercerish.
He's got a necklace of hand grenades, which is very much like Bullhorn, but having like a red life preserver style, like very 90s cut off sleeve vest is a lot like Tracker. So yeah, Bio Viper definitely does borrow from everyone but the Cobra Eels, unfortunately. I'd
Which
have
is
really
sad.
digged it if he had like either Eels V1 or Eels V2 kind of stylings. Like the yellow like, what'd you call that? Armor, chest armor would be so good. Or just the gray wetsuit with the red chests.
And like
kind of
maybe
section,
stretched
and
and
a
torn or
silver-
something. Yeah.
A silver Cobra symbol to tie it all together. Anyways, woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is the toy we got in 1993, and love it or hate it. Paul loves it. I'm indifferent. Rob, how about you, man? Bio Viper?
It doesn't feel like a Joe. I don't know.
Yeah. Precisely
no,
how I
that's-
feel.
So I'm
Fully
glad
agreed.
Paul
What's
got
the
it.
verdict on the Bio Viper, man?
Well, he could have used some of those ribbed gauntlets. That could have swayed me.
Yes.
But I'm right with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I got it because I've always been curious about it. And I've always thought it's an interesting piece of the GI Joe toy sort of, phenomenon. And it's such a strange sort of side road that I just had to have one in my collection. Also, it gives my Mega Marines something awesome to kill with their big bad guns. Then also a great new arrival in my life has been Mutt and Junkyard. Yeah, so my Mutt has got a accessory pack helmet. He's a little bit of a piecemeal. Accessory pack helmet, no nightstick, no Mac 10, sadly, no leash. But I've got Mutt, and that's great. And I also have Junkyard, and the awesome seller that I dealt with sent me a surprise in the form of Desert Scorpion's Scorpion. So now I'm one step
Aw.
closer to completing Desert Scorpion's gear. Whee!
Very good.
Yeah, that was like completely unexpected actually, which was really nice. And then just here's a nice table shot of all my dudes when they arrived. I'm watching some G Gundam in the background because that has gone live, but I'll save that for what are you watching. And then this was just a cool curiosity on a local group that I follow on Facebook, which is like a SANDF veterans group.
South
one of the-
African National Defense Force.
There you go. And one of the guys posted this, and these are creations done by his uncle. Now, it's a whole bunch of South African military vehicles, circa 1980 to late 70s to 1990, late 90s. And some of this stuff is actually still in operation. It's very, very cool. These are all handmade by him and scratch built and everything. And there's a great story because I obviously reached out to this guy and I was like, oh my God, I really would like to try and see if I can buy one of these. And he did say, no, his uncle sadly does not sell them. However, he does make them, and maybe I could twist his arm to make one for me, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, like I don't want to do that. If it's something he loves doing and he's not looking at selling them, that's totally cool. I'm like, I just would have loved some of these for my GI Joes. And he's like, it's funny you say that. These were actually all made by him for his kids, because they loved GI Joe toys, and he wanted to give them like some vehicles and thingies. So these are all made in like sort of a relative GI Joe size. I know if for our listeners, you can't see how beautiful they are, but for our viewers, yeah, they're pretty amazing. I don't think they're 100% scale accurate. They are a bit smaller. I think they're
What are they
scale
made
accurate.
of, Paul? Did you actually get to tinker with some of them?
No, I wish. These are just pictures I saw on the internet, so I haven't been near them at all physically. But
Do you know if he
they-
scratch built things? Like,
did.
Did he use other existing parts? Like the wheels look like they were sourced. What did he use? For
Yeah, he
tank
did
tread?
that.
Like, I've got so many questions. Because they look very,
Oh.
very good. The guy must be a model builder of some kind.
Yeah, he is, and a lot of it's laser cut. So he's probably built them in CAD and then laser cut the parts, and then modeled them together and put them together.
Wait,
it's
you said he did
incredible.
this in the 90s.
Yeah. So some of these were probably cut by hand. Yeah,
Jeepers.
crazy, hey?
That's a lot of
So-
love. Because there are dozens of vehicles that he's created and all look very authentic.
Right? It's amazing. It's like I'm just blown away. That one Cosper in the background, which is an APC vehicle used for urban pacification in South Africa. It's now a common. That is very, very well done. Having had the privilege, I suppose it's a privilege of sitting in a real one on a few occasions in my life. So I just when I saw that, it kind of captured it a bit for me. And then also seeing the G5 Rhino as opposed to the G6 Rhino, and yeah. Anyway, so that was me for new stuff. Yay, new toys. What did you guys get?
Rob, Cooge, any new shit this week?
I'm sitting on my collection.
The contented collector.
I do walk down the toy aisle occasionally, but
Nothing tempts you.
not recently. Not recently.
Aye,
Oh,
at
well.
least you
I
can
know,
walk down
I
those
know.
aisles. You and Steven,
True.
Well, we just sit here in South Africa with no toy owls. Well, Paul has put toy owls, thankfully. I mean, with the
Yeah,
Motu.
Rob, don't bemoan it. Paul has just yammered on for 20 minutes about all the toys that he's seeing. Like, I haven't seen Waspinator at our big W stores.
Well, maybe I should check out. But I mean, I think it's always that perennial thing where like Joburg just seems to get stuff that the rest of the country doesn't get. I will definitely have a look this week and then let everyone know whether or not there are any toys worth getting in Cape Town toy stores.
Please do,
Do it,
because
man.
I am hearing some reports of guys having major difficulty finding Motu stuff in Cape Town, but then all the surrounds, Bloemfontein and Hermanus and
What's
Plet
going
and all those
on?
places, they all have Motu toys. What the hell? But but not Cape Town.
It's ridiculous. Unless there's like one like super buyer here, a scalper or something. He's just buying
They-
them all out before anyone realizes.
So there is actually. Yeah, so this is a bit of information I got from a group. Somebody, this is going to sound so Ferris Bueller. Somebody that knows somebody that overheard a conversation between two people at Seven Flavors. But one of the guys, one of the distributors or some distribution managers or regional managers in Mattel, that is responsible for the distribution specifically of the Motu brand, whatever's. Apparently, they're going to now put down a thing in the stores that guys can't buy multiples, because there's actually a guy that's going around to all of the shops and he's dropping about 9,000 to 15,000 rand and buying up all of the stock when it drops. And he's obviously got a contact inside the stores that he bribes, and then he gets there and he buys all of the stuff before it even comes onto the shelf.
And he's Cape Town based, it sounds like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
2021. So sinister.
And there's also they reckon it's a team of guys that are buying, that they're working
All
together
right,
and they're
Paul,
scalpers.
I've had enough
Anyway.
He-Berg for one episode. Thank you.
But it's not just
very
He-Man,
much
it's like
so.
other stuff as well. They're also buying up all the Hot Wheels, which is also causing contention among certain people. But anyway, enough of that. Rob,
terms of
you
new
need to
shit-
go on a toy adventure, my dude.
I'll
Indeed.
let everyone
Do
know.
it.
Stephen,
Yeah,
Another
well, I
unpack.
rocked my Skeletron T-shirt for the first time to
Sexy
an
photo, my
event.
dude.
Yeah.
I went to
Interesting.
Kim's.
Straddling.
I went to Kim's end of year function with Elliot in tow. Yeah, my accessory, my plus one.
Your talking
And
point.
wore a Skeletron T-shirt, and unfortunately, none of the emergency department doctors or nurses asked me any interesting questions about where'd you get the cool shirt.
Rude.
They are lame, clearly.
they're just
They didn't say oh, is that the new COVID variant?
Skeletron. It's a great name. But no. It's been a Lego kind of a week, guys, because it being the first week of December, I've cut into my advent calendar. On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me the Razor Crest in a kind of chibi Lego scale. That was day one. Day two was a ship that I do not recognize. Maybe it's the ship that the Mandalorian dogfights in the opening to that one episode. I don't know. Anyone who's watching the YouTube version, let me know what ship is pictured on screen right now. I have no idea. It's got like a yellow nose and a gray back section. Anyways. Got a Stormtrooper, very, very nice Stormtrooper. It's amazing what Lego minifigures are like these days. They are just like super cool. I don't need to tell you. Any fan of Lego knows how good the decos are, how like nice the parts are, how these would be. Well, when I was a kid, an absolute smart bomb. I would have used these as my action figures all the time. But yeah, nice Stormtrooper. And E-Web Blaster was on day 5. No, day 4. Unfortunately, it's got one of these stupid like why did Lego see fit to have actual like launching studs? They've got weapons
Oh.
that actually shoot. Don't like that.
That's
weird.
So weird.
It is so weird, but to each their own. And at
And
least
then you got
because
some
it's
traffic
Lego,
lights
you
on
can
the
take it
next
off.
day.
I think those were meant to be targets that you use the blaster to kind of
okay.
knock out. So you can make a game of it, or you could just flatly ignore them. But the real interesting news, so on one of the Australian toy groups that I am a member of. On my birthday, no less, a competition was announced to win a Lego set from ages ago, from 2007. Derek's Vintage Toys was not auctioning, was giving away as a prize a Lego AT-AT.
Do you get Derek as well?
Motorized Lego AT-AT. Very, very nice. Lego fans would probably know what I'm talking about. I was completely in the dark, but hey, it was my birthday. I had nothing to lose, and I had some new toys kicking around, so I decided to enter. The rule of the competition was, okay, firstly, like Derek's page. Secondly, take a picture of you or your family or your pets, either anonymously or with your face visible. You know, he wanted to respect people's privacy, so various permutations of collection photographs were permitted, obviously. And I'd recently just bought that black arachnia from him, so I snapped off a picture of Elliot attacking me with old black arachnia.
Oh my word, that's creepy.
And today the lucky draw was held. It wasn't so much a lucky draw; it was more like a vote. His kids and his kids' friends voted on the winner, and they voted for my picture.
Hey!
Congratulations, dude! That's so cool.
Cheers! Thanks, Paulie.
Rad,
That's
dude.
awesome. Because I mean, your
Wow.
brother had an older version of that, I think, in Lego.
Oh, Mark had all of the initial Star Wars Lego stuff because he just thought this is the coolest thing to ever happen. Like, the reason he became a graphic designer in the first place, he firmly believes, fell squarely between watching Star Wars in 1977, you know, as I think an infant. He was on my mother's lap. He'd just been
Cute,
born.
man.
No, he was 1.5. Okay, so not an infant, but still very, very young. And Lego. So just the sort of the graphic and aesthetic perfection of Lego, plus that enormous crawl of text that kicked off Star Wars, just cemented in him
Imprinted on
the
him
need
his
to
entire
be
life.
fine artist, graphic designer, art director.
And also,
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go on a limb here, but I also imagine skateboarding is in the mix there somewhere, as an inspiration.
Came later, but sure, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Skate graphics and just the cool that comes with being one of those skate rats. Exactly. My brother, envy
Those
of my
graphics,
life.
man.
Anyways, guys, I've got a very cool vintage Lego set being couriered to me tomorrow.
That's so exciting.
Thank
I've
you.
a-
Yeah, it is.
It's funny that you
haven't-
mentioned a Lego set.
You know, it's the Christmas time. There's something magical about getting a Lego set for Christmas, and I would never get myself a Lego set anymore. I've been fortunate to be gifted it a couple of times in recent memory. I was given a Secret Santa Lego Batmobile in 2019. So just building Lego on Christmas Day night feels right to me. It's like that thing that you do when the house is quiet and you kind of get a chance to admire your gifts. And maybe that's when this AT-AT will begin construction. I don't think I'll be able to smash it in a night, but I do have very fond memories of putting the Tim Burton, Danny Elfman Batman soundtrack in my ears and building that Batmobile. So yeah, maybe I'll play Empire and build me an AT-AT, a walking
Dude,
AT-AT. How cool!
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's just, and the reason I say it's funny you mentioned Lego. I've also been like entering competitions for some reason. I recently entered a Gundam artwork competition to win a really cool Gundam PC case. I
Whoa.
didn't win that one, sadly. Which
I
is
saw
actually
your artwork, dude. It was incredible.
Thank you, man. I
Well
appreciate
done.
that.
How did
I-
it
I-
not win? Are these people
Um,
blind?
I
Strange
actually
world.
I have no idea how it didn't win. But you know what? You know what? The person who did win, and I'll be fair here, the artwork wasn't that good. But you know, I can see it. No.
Just like the
No.
motherfucker who
This guy
robbed
who
us
beat
in
me, his artwork's
GoCon
really
2018.
Yeah.
You remember?
So
Bitter Ender should have won that custom competition. Come on.
I agree.
We were
But-
robbed.
But the thing is, I could also tell that it was drawn by a much younger person, a much younger artist. And you know what? If that
Yeah.
winning that competition inspires him to be a great artist, then I think that's just the way things were meant to go, and that's
That's
actually really
probably how they
great.
balance these things out in the end, you know? I
Yeah,
mean,
because yeah,
the same with
listen,
like
I'm still
Stephen winning his
bummed.
competition. It's based of votes and it's based of, you know, the guy's family going, "That's the coolest picture. We absolutely love this picture. It's so cool.
And it's
It's
based
fun."
on having a hell of a cute kid. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. And it's a cool moment. Like it's kind of
I'm not going to be
scary.
modest about the fact that my child is adorable and I
Adorable.
wish I could
Yeah.
get him a bloody agent, but I'm in the armpit of the world right now. So there ain't no ways I'm going to like get this guy as the face of Huggies and, you know, be minted. I mean, come
Not
Yeah.
on.
yet.
He would
Not
rock
yet.
any ad campaign I take him to a casting for.
He's better than the Goba baby dude. Like he's Goba level
Is
status.
that your point of reference, Paul?
No, I'm
You're
just
such
it's a
noob.
Modern Family reference. So
Gerber. I don't know if
the
Gerber's
Goba.
had. Does that still exist?
I
Purity?
don't. I I I don't know. I don't eat baby food or buy baby products. What
You
do I
don't?
know?
Come on,
I
dude.
don't-
I don't
That's
know
the
anything
best
about
for this
babies.
thing.
The only thing I know about children is that everybody else around me is having them, and they're all really amazingly cute. Yours is the winner, by the way. And yeah, that's all I know. And then on the topic of competitions, I did enter a Ghostbusters Afterlife competition, which is to win that awesome Ecto 1, that like really hectic creator Lego set that Ecto 1. I'd never buy that for myself, but on my word, if I had to win that as a prize, it'd be super sweet. And BBTS has been doing some cool like daily giveaways, and the one to win the competition, you had to like mention what do you think is the best crossover. And I mulled it over in my head for about 15 minutes and decided an awesome 80s cartoon crossover or an awesome cartoon crossover would be Ghostbusters and Scooby Doo. That would be super awesome. I would enjoy the shit out of that if somebody did it because it would work so well. But it has to be the real Ghostbusters cartoon mixed with Scooby Doo. I think it would be so awesome. Anyway, cool. Sorry, Steve. Congratulations again on winning that awesome at. Makes me very happy to hear you winning cool shit.
I
Yeah,
think that
man, winning stuff. Like, I'm sure I've won competitions before, but I honestly can't remember. It was bloody exhilarating because they did a live stream and record, you know, they did it live. They had the kids vote live and knock down, you know, like pick the final three. And then out of the final three, they actually were kind of split on them. So they rock, paper, scissored it out. Like, yeah, it was amazing. Felt great. It felt like I'd just won that big part that I was auditioning for, you know?
you're a winner,
Anyway,
Steven.
let's move the agenda on.
Hold on,
shall
hold
we?
on. It might be
Ooh.
too late for this joke, but hopefully that spider didn't e-web your face. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Black Arachnia, terrorize! Oh, incidentally, in the picture, Elliot is actually, it looks like he's putting the spider on my face, but he's actually trying to push it off my face. What a good
Aw,
lad.
Good man.
Yeah. Sweet, sweet kid.
amazing.
Anyways, moving on. Rob, what are you watching, reading, or playing? What's rocking your world, dude?
Well, I'm still going with Star Trek. I tried out JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, the 5th season.
Oh my god,
I've
it's the
watched
worst
the
place to
first-
jump on.
No, I don't think there's any worse or bad place to jump on. I can understand it's very different. So I've just started that, and it's amazing how creepy these shows are. Like they can really get under your skin, and like how they animate stuff. It really feels very unsettling. Like some of the things that happen in these first 2 episodes, or even more so the second episode. And then I watched a fantastic episode of Star Trek Next Generation this week called The Defector from season 3. One of the amazing episodes written by Ronald D. Moore, who is the creator of the rebooted Battlestar Galactica. And it's a really, really crazy good episode. This Romulan commander is chased through the neutral zone. He gets to the Enterprise and he tells everyone the war is coming. You know, the war is coming with the Romulans, and you guys have to preemptively destroy this base, or war will break out between Federation and the Romulans. And the whole episode is you're trying to decide for yourself at the same time as the crew is trying to decide, can you trust this guy? Is what he's saying real? Is it not real? And they're trying to figure this out. And it's like the whole episode, you're wondering, like, is he telling the truth? Is this happening? And it's a nice balancing act of like what's actually going on in this episode. Probably one of the best ones I think you could possibly watch of Next Generation. Yeah, then that was basically it. I mean, I think we set the shop up for Christmas, so we got all our decorations up.
I saw your specials
so-
went up yesterday. So-
Yes, that too. Well, or hot picks, more like, you know, we kind of just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
like encouraging people to buy the things that we have more than one of. This has been a very difficult 2 years of trying to like, you know, stay in stock and get stock in. And despite all the difficulties, we're still around. I'm grateful that my bosses have been able to make things work over the last 2 years since, you know, the drop of COVID. And yeah, I'm just happy I still have a job, and it's at a comic book shop. So
And you bastard sold that Gundam Barbatos just before I got paid.
no, we'll probably get it in again.
Must be
It's
nice
such a
to still
popular
have a
model.
No. Dude,
That's
you
true.
got the most important job. You're a dad.
Hey, exactly. See?
Like,
You
I'm
know?
sorry. I know it sounds like incredibly
bring
cheesy
in
and
the
stuff.
next
Close to my
generation.
career meltdown. Anyways,
Nah,
getting
it'll
off track.
come again.
What am I reading, watching, or playing, you ask? Well, I
Yes,
just
I
discovered
was
a
wondering.
brand new, or new to me at least, GI Joe podcast. Guys, has anyone heard of Audible Interlude, a GI Joe podcast? Audible Interlude? Anyway, it's a
No.
It's possible I've
less
retweeted
than
them.
stellar name, but it is an incredible podcast. Really enjoy these guys, and I had never heard them before. So, link in the
And it's
description
a
below,
G.I. Joe
dudes.
podcast? That's interesting.
Yeah, they have a nice format. They sort of talk news, and then they do a review of some Joe material every week. I've just consumed their episode on GI Joe Operation Blackout, and they gave it a glowing review. Kind of makes me want to relook at this game, because while it doesn't have online multiplayer, it does have local two-player
co-op.
co-op. So it's the
Interesting.
kind of game that you and a Joe fan or an
A
offspring
non-Joe fan.
can play through cooperatively and just have fun with it, as janky as it may be. And the great thing about it is I'm sure it costs next to nothing nowadays.
It does. Funny story there. Tex got a hold of me the other day and he said, listen, there's a whole bunch of that new GI Joe game stock.
Do you want them all for nothing?
No, he's like, there's some stock of it floating around and it's on like a really special price. And I was like, oh, really? And I'm like, is that GI Joe Blackout? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, do they have a PS4 version? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. How much? And he's like, well, $230. And I'm like, $230? You're going to pay me $230 to take GI Joe off your hands? And we both laughed. And then we laughed again. And then I carried on with the rest of my day. I will own that game as a curiosity. I don't think I'm going to have fun playing it. But hey, cool. I'm glad other people are enjoying it. That's a good thing.
Rob,
so.
do you have an opinion on that game? It kind of landed while you were taking a little hiatus from GI Joburg. Did you ever encounter it?
Which one was it?
Never mind.
No, I mean I don't.
Clearly it didn't
the
have an
only one
impact.
I remember coming was that mobile one.
Yes.
And I think that one is folded by now, or it was in the process
Yes.
of kind of winding down.
done.
No, I
A third-person shooter called GI Joe Operation Blackout. Oh, I forget the name of the publisher, and I only heard it again today, so that's how I forgot
no,
it was.
I had
Iguana.
that had no impact on me whatsoever.
Well, good
Nice,
thing then.
Nice cover art.
Could have been better if you were doing it.
No. To be fair, I think they did a good job there. I'm not gonna knock that. I think that's a great piece of art.
Good cover art. Shit.
Paul
game, good cover
Gundam,
art.
I'll give you the microphone for 2 minutes. Go.
I've been watching G Gundam, but actually more importantly, Celia and I have been watching all of the Harry Potter movies. We have 3 more to go. And
I getting GI Gundam, and then
And,
Harry Potter into the rig.
and I'm loving them. I mean, I really enjoy the Harry Potter universe. I'm not like a fan or anything. I just really enjoy the movies. And later tonight, Celia and I will
Isn't that
be.
what a fan is? Someone who enjoys something a lot.
No, but I'm not hardcore. I'm not like, I don't know Harry Potter's middle name and that kind of thing. I'm not that kind of fan. You
It
know what I
doesn't
mean? Like,
have a middle name. It's
I just
very
enjoy it. You know, I just
Leroy.
enjoy it. It's a cool film. Am I going to read the books? Probably never. I just enjoy the movies. They're cool. I like the visual design. They're stunning films. They still hold up, which is great, you know. And it's just I don't
And that's all we got here for Paul. Sorry, I've just discovered the mute button. This is going to be fun. Sorry, Paul. Please continue. Oh, by the way, the mobile game closes on the
Son of a
10th
bitch.
of December. Thank you, Andrew, for saving us in the chats. So yeah, build your bases. This is your last chance, I guess.
And
Oh,
guys, also just quickly, this is something that I think Steve and Rob, you guys may appreciate. A little bit later tonight, Celia and I are going to try out the Kid Amnesia gallery experience.
Gallery.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Apparently, it is mind-blowingly awesome. So
Word.
Do you have a 3D sort of headset?
I don't have any of that. I don't
Boo,
have
boo
VR.
to that.
You're not
Oh,
going to
well.
experience it the way they want you to.
You must
But
be
you're
immersed,
still going to
Paul.
experience it.
Yeah, well, I've got to see Tex sometime this week for some work-related stuff, and I'm gonna ask him if I can borrow the PSVR. Then can really blow Celia's mind with that, and she can enjoy the Tom York awesomeness. Tom York's video game debut.
I
Hey,
had
listen,
a flash of Demolition Man just now.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah,
said blow her, what are you gonna blow? of her?
her mind.
Anyways, her mind, yeah.
Yeah,
Sandra
that thing.
Bullock with those stupid headsets. God.
Woo, 3 seashells. Anyway.
Oh, it turns out I'm in the. That's what dropped this week as well. Spotify's Wrapped, where they kind of like give you the stats for your year. It turns out I listen to music more than 94% of people in South Africa, or at least 4% of people on Spotify. And I'm in the top 1% of people who listen to Radiohead this year. So that was kind of cool.
Nice, Rob.
Shit,
That's an
yes.
achievement. I think Celia's there too. I've been
Hell
listening to
yeah.
a lot of Radiohead recently.
And the general vibe of my music this year was apparently melancholy and healing. So I found that quite
Paranoid and
interesting.
subterranean.
And the Suspiria soundtrack. Yeah, I get you.
Oh, fantastic.
Jeez, Paul, no Gundam for you this week. Come on, Cujo has waited long enough. My brother,
It's true.
tell us all about JoeVember, dude.
Well, I don't get to talk about new stuff.
Hey, man, talk about whatever you want.
or whatever I'm
The
watching.
floor is yours. I'll mute everyone else. You can monologue the next part of the show.
That's dangerous.
How about it? No, I'm kidding. Carry on, Cooch. Tell
I
us
think,
what you
well,
want.
for what, if it's of any interest, I think I did watch Midnight Mass, and that was a good watch.
Yeah, thought-provoking, eh?
It did. It raised a lot of questions with me and my lady as we were watching it. I have doubled back on Seinfeld just to kind of knock out too. It's been nice. I think that's about it. We can talk some JoeVember. What is JoeVember, casual listener? Well, it's a hashtag that was created to promote GI Joe artwork, and folks did participate. I believe you guys have some slides. Am I right?
Oh, yes, I
Absolutely.
do. Hopefully you can talk us through them. First up, I've got a beautiful stalker.
Oh, well, out of order, but let's do it. I believe this is one of our friends, at least on Joe Twitter, Sean Neprud. Neprud. But his ad is Bad Deacon, I believe.
Yes, I know that name. Yes.
I want to make sure that's his art. I believe it is. But no, I thought I'd include some of him to promote. I like simple line art where all the lines arrive where they should. Your guys' thoughts? I believe was there a couple pictures of his in there?
I think
A very
I'm
complimentary
digging that
piece
face, dude.
with Dusty.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I
Big
like how
ups to him.
straightforward it is, you know. It kind of, especially the background, kind of just suggests where he is, but it's kind of more focused on the characters, which I quite like. And the lines are really clean.
All right.
Oh, I
Well,
love that.
in the order that we're in, we'll go
Right.
with the most obscure piece of artwork, and I think that's from a cat named ObscuriThings or Obscure.
ObscuriThings.
There it is. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
And of course, anybody remember that guy's name? Anybody?
Cobra invades. No.
Isn't
I
that,
don't know,
isn't
he's
that
the
just a snow viper? No.
It's the chrome and red snake eyes, isn't it?
That's right.
From Ports Unknown.
Ooh.
What's his
Co-
name, Cujo?
Cobra Mortal.
Cobra
Yeah.
Mortal. That's
You are
it.
mere
Mortal.
mortals. I forgive.
I know I am Cobra Mortal.
Next slide.
Okay.
That's a
Tour
really cool
continues.
Oh, there's some nice
Yay,
color work.
blowtorch.
I think we've gone back to Sean. Looking good. Looking good.
It's Adiacon. He's busting in.
nice.
He's not putting fires out. He's putting them on.
I
Jeez.
think this is son
This
of a gun.
is Vono Elfhofen.
Thank you for falling on that sword. I thought this guy had some clean lines and also some good humor. So,
Yeah, all three of his pieces have kind of like little bits of words added to them.
I think he's
Um,
old school Ninja Turtle style that he's going for. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah,
And
it
the
feels
perfect
nice. The
subject for
proportions
it,
are
which
cool.
is Storm Shadow version 2.
and that's why I
Low
picked him.
crouch.
Cheers.
Hmm.
What's next? Oh, here we go.
Oh.
One of my favorites. Little used. For some reason, IDW never tapped, but I think she's one of the interesting characters that it's got a lot of mileage.
And this picture
Or
comes from
does
Tim
not.
Shin.
But yeah.
Tim Shinn,
Tim?
yes.
Tim
Mhm.
Shin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, what's her name? Jodie, aka Shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
Very
14th
nice.
original, if you're sleeping.
I don't know, man. I just listened to Anything Joe's recap of the Devil's Due issue that introduced her. And, like, in that same issue, they're introducing Wild Bill and Ace and Sparks. So, like, the G.I. Joe roster is deeper than 14 members. So it
Yeah,
kind of
it's
robs her
difficult.
of
Where do you draw
that
the line?
status. Maybe
Did
the
you guys
characters weren't Joe's, but they were working with the Joes. I don't know. The lines blur, I think.
Did you guys ever catch that? I think it was called G.I.
It's a
Joe
nitpick.
Reborn. And there's the Joes are in, like, I can't even remember the situation properly, but I think the Joes are in trouble or something. And Hawk sends out a call. And oh no, not Hawk. What's the name of the general at the time?
Falcon.
Flag.
Flag sends
Or
out a
Austin?
call or something.
Austin
I think
Flag.
it's anyway. He sends out the
General
call
Austin or
and
General Flag. One of the two.
well, I think one of the two, and then you see the radio chatter, and then you see like an affirmative, and then it's got her like in the bush, and then she's like walking deeper into the bush, and it was actually quite a cool
Wow.
shot.
I mean,
Yeah.
this could be ripped. I mean, straight from the
So-
comic book.
And this image is very cool. I really love the style and the coloring and the
I like
lighting.
his signature
it's
as
beautiful.
well. Is that his
Yeah.
signature in the bottom right hand corner? It's so cool.
Yeah,
Good call.
and
Well,
great,
yeah.
Let's
great
stick with the same artist
composition.
for a little while and check out his Copperhead.
Oh.
Not only Copperhead, his Python Patrol Copperhead.
Ooh,
Hey.
I know
I had to
somebody
bring
in
it
our
up.
chat
I had
that
to
is
bring it up.
excited about that.
Well, every time you see this guy, you got to ask, why the yellow panties? Why? Aside from
Fortunately,
that,
the-
strong figure.
The image crops away from the yellow panties, but yeah.
Good call. Good call.
The black inset into the yellow helmet is cool.
Mm.
There's a lot to like about this deco if you can overlook the parts that don't work. And it translates well in this artwork. Moving on.
You don't see much
Oh.
of her, but it's a good look. It's a good look.
Who can tell me this operative's name? Female, blonde, has G.I. Joe on her. I think it's like sort of OD green t-shirt.
And
Yeah,
she's
man.
not riding in the Wolverine.
There's
So
two
Rob
names.
thinks it's CoverGirl.
I'm gonna say it's either Bombshell or GI Jane, if I'm not mistaken.
It's neither, but okay. Thanks for playing, Paul.
Wow.
MC's in
Cujo,
the
do you know the
house.
name of this character?
Of course. Of course.
All right. Let's
no,
have it, wise guy. Put your money where your mouth
MC
is.
already told us Bomb Strike.
There we go. Bomb Strike, not Bombshell.
a good
Bombshell
looking
would have
figure.
actually
Sorry,
been stronger.
close.
But
Interesting
Bombshell
strike.
is applicable.
Yeah.
She's
She's a
definitely a
bombshell.
bombshell. This is a beautiful picture. I really like this one.
There is actually a GI Jane. If you guys, I don't know if you know that, by the way.
Oh, Demi
Yes,
Moore.
there
Yeah.
is.
Interesting.
The
actually
original
character.
action nurse.
No.
Peg
well,
warmer,
there's-
I believe.
Possibly, yeah. But I know that she's in the roster in she's part of the on standby roster in the GI Joe book that Devil's Due did, the Battle Files. So
I
remember
thought
seeing
she
her there.
operates that bloody death laser that resides in New York
Oh yes, that's the other appearance. Yeah, with Joe Colton.
with
if memory
Joe.
serves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, let's style back to Mr. Humorous. He's got Serpentor
Hey.
doing some grocery shopping.
Wono Elfhoff.
I love the fact that he puts his drawing implement in the frame. Like he's got a
Yeah, that's
Sharpie marker included in this image of Serpentor doing his shopping.
so that's like a little thing the Inktober guys do.
Clever.
Sometimes like yeah, you do it to sort of say, listen, this was done by hand.
By
This is a
hand and
real
then
thing.
photographed on my work desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The captions
Like-
are great. Serpentor saying, pick up laundry. This I command. Check. Pay water bill. This I command. Check. And so on and so forth. Like,
Call
must get
mom.
pretty-
This I command.
pretty exhausting to have to do that internally as well. Like anytime he's thinking to himself, this I command. Yes,
Oh, he's a
Napoleon.
lefty.
This I command.
It must take a lot longer for him to get anything done.
Yeah,
True.
Like,
Well,
if he
he has
It's the
constantly
type
has
of
to-
obsessive
over a
compulsive
dozen
disorder.
personalities to kind of push things past.
Yeah.
Guys,
Decision by
and let's just
committee.
and let's not detract from how well that shopping cart is drawn. Like it's a silly thing, like but it's drawn well. And
Yeah.
I
it looks
appreciate that kind of
proportionally
stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cujo, trolleys, or shopping cart?
Shopping cart. Come on now.
Okay. Okay, we would say
Thank you,
trolley.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Shopping
say
cart is on
trolleys.
for us a shopping
Cujo-
cart is on the website. Sorry.
Are both the front and rear wheels on your shopping carts casted? Are they both on swivels?
These days, I'm carrying a basket most of the time, but it depends on the store. Depends on the store. If all four wheels are on a pivot, then you got trouble.
That thing just is difficult to like corner. Paul and Rob, remind me, brothers, how many wheels are articulated in South Africa?
It's the two front ones on the plastic trolleys.
Just
And-
two.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know because I drift them a
Yeah,
lot.
that makes it easier to kind of go around corners. I love driving those things.
I dig it as well. I drift turn. I do like cool drift turns. I get all
What's the
Tokyo drift with
best?
them. And Celia
on.
like dies of
Next.
embarrassment.
Next
How do you
slide.
drift if you don't
This
have
I
all four
command.
wheels turning?
I drift like you're supposed to drift.
Yeah,
like,
so
just skidding. You skid.
I
skid
skid the
through.
shit out of that thing, and I like I just hit those aisles sideways, and then I correct. It's awesome. I love it.
Well,
it's like
I
it's like Ridge
curse
Racer, but in Pick and Pay.
Every time I'm shopping here, I curse because I have such a hard time maneuvering the damn trolleys because they have all four wheels swiveling.
Oh no, this is
Why would
why
you
is
do that?
Australia like this, dude? Why are they like this?
Well, I just had to check, man. Is it Aussie only? Am I losing my mind? Anyways, this feels like the imperial and metric divide. So let's not get controversial.
Yeah, let's
This
move
artist-
swiftly along to the next artwork.
There you
Speaking
go.
of Seinfeld, oh, we got why did I
So
turn
this
the
comes
page?
to us from Zak Kinsella.
Yes,
is.
I've been checking this dude out quite a lot. He's been doing some
And
cool
it's
stuff.
Voltar
Mm.
with his condor.
I had to give him some
Beautiful.
love. Yeah, he did some dreadnoughts. All of them had the same static background, but I dug it. Looks
It's
Has
good.
the
cool. He kind
condor
of
got
makes
a
him his
name?
own.
Mm,
Does the condor have a name? I actually don't know.
I don't
Okay.
think so. I don't think so.
I don't,
Flappy.
I think
Yeah, this is the one I remember. Is this metalhead?
This.
I love it.
In keeping
I
with the
love that
Destros Nine
face.
Grenadiers theme, he's
I
got
would read an
metalhead.
entire comic book. I mean, would this be a comic book or would it be more like strips? Like like comic
co-
strips?
I
like
think
with,
comic
like three
strips.
panel. Yeah, like three
Yeah.
panels. I would read a comic book with this metalhead in.
Totally,
Mm.
me too. It looks like
Awesome.
it just is such a fun style. You could like merge this with like Calvin and Hobbes or something like that. It's
Yeah.
Sunday
Yeah.
funnies. And
Mhm.
last but most certainly not least, we've got an
E-Dog.
artist that's very near and dear to all of our hearts.
Had
It's
the first
Cujo in the
person-
house.
Yeah. Well, as you guys
Cujo.
know, if you're in the back issues, I did go all month, or I tried to anyway. I think 14 artworks, but there's some more in the hopper. I'm gonna go overtime. This was a Laser Trooper was the first commission, so I salute you for getting it. But yeah, it's straightforward. I did a lot of, oddly enough, the networks I run in, I did a lot of new age art, new agers. I did some doomers. I didn't do a whole lot of Joe fans, so keep me going, guys. $5. Let me do a sketch for you. Just hit me up.
I love
Yeah.
this. I love that one.
Oh, that's
there
Like
it
cool.
you
is.
can see
Ironmonger's great.
the airplane in the background. That was very cool.
Mm.
Had to
Sorry, we
give him
moved
some
on very quickly.
context.
Airplane in the background.
And
Yeah.
honestly, guys,
Takedown. Took
if
it
you want
down.
to go deep cut, I have a C3 in the smoke up there, so you already know.
Oof.
What?
It's all right. You see it up top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it tells a story all in one picture, which I think is really cool.
Nice
and,
colors,
and
by
he's
the way.
TD, and he has seven takedowns. So a little bit of a football reference. Gotcha. Of course, we got the flag next to the star. All right, moving right along. Let's see.
Sorry, we can linger.
Ironmonger.
I like to drive.
Ironmonger.
This is our man GI Gary with of course the Motor Pod, which I've been enjoying. You know, I just started listening to the Motor Pod. I didn't
It's a
know
good
he,
Great
podcast.
format.
I love him talking about comics. Gary, I love it when you talk about comics. Please talk the Black Book at some point. We'll chat it up. But yeah, of course he had this commission of a researcher for Mars, and I just figured, you know what, this guy's cocky. He's shooting people behind his back. So
Yeah, dude. And I think it's his avatar at the moment. So very cool.
oh, good man. Yeah, he's got the little Lobot workout. So
No, dude, this is very cool. I like the style here a lot. And I like Rob commented earlier on the story of the previous shot. I liked a little bit of a story here as well.
Yeah.
Like,
cheers,
I
brother.
can get a lot from this. It's cool.
Am I authorized to move on, Cooge? Sorry,
Please
I know I was
do.
getting
Please
antsy.
do. Cheers, Gary.
Boom.
Of
Ew.
course. You already know.
Ooh.
No,
Cujo
these
and
are
White
Cujo
Lightning.
and White Lightning's avatars, yeah? The
If
lovely
you're not
Steph.
familiar with these characters, well, I do have an email address, and you should hit me up. But of course, if you were going to say, does GI Joe have an X-Files team? Yeah, they do. So, yeah, that was one I wanted to add in. It was great, and this could transition over if I'm monologuing at this point. I think it is that time, guys. It is that time. Let me tell you a little bit of story. I'll break away for a minute. But out here, of course, we have a lot of newspapers. I live on the West Coast. Recently, in the last couple years, most of our papers were bought up by a company called Alden Capital. Do you guys know a network called Lee Enterprises? It's only the oldest newspaper network in our country. Started in the early 1800s. All through the Midwest and the East Coast, they just got bought up by Alden Capital too. Where am I going with this? Well, it's important to have good network. And I think it's time that people realize it doesn't happen by accident. So here in the States, we're dealing with what they call city news services. It just means that they don't employ anybody from your town and write blogs for rich people. So it is important. You have a Joe network, and I'll do it once again. I'll do it, guys. What's on Joe Mine? HCC, Motor Pod. I know I'm going to leave some out, so please keep dropping them. Yeah, support network however you can. If it's $5, tip these guys. It's December. Give them a stocking stuffer. Yes, of course, I'm plugging myself, but
Ryan
like I
Sweeney had a
said,
great suggestion that if you wanted to help someone's YouTube analytics, if you leave the house, just leave your smart TV playing playlists from their channel. So, I mean, for instance,
one.
HTC is back on everyone's radar.
Hack
He's
the
gone
Planet.
through one hell of a rough ride. So, yeah, if you wanted to help his YouTube analytics, just, I mean, he's got such an enormous back catalog of great reviews that, yeah, it'd be nice to just leave it on in the background all day, basically.
well, let
Might
me
even
not
see some
forget
G.I.
that
Joe toys you're not familiar with.
people are stir turning up. Sorry, Paul.
No, you go.
They Gone just started a live. I don't know if he's going to go weekly, but keep your eyes open. I'll make sure the Twitter keeps up with the shows. But everybody that's in GI Joe that creates a signal, you guys are damn important, and I'm thankful for you. That's why I'm always in your comments and all that. So it is. And I'm going to transition seamlessly into my final pitch, which is, I believe, IDW is going to say goodbye to the Hasbro licenses in the near future. So Hasbro, I know you guys listen. Here's a chance for you guys to be a real American heroes. You got a network that supported you, a talented network. Why don't the fans do the comic? You got Kerouac, who we know has been killing the timeline. You got Kick Lee, who's been sitting on standby. Of course, you got Cujo. So, yeah, I think it's that time. Support network when you can, and that's what we're here to do, to make sure people find you guys. So, I think that's JoeVember, my man. My man.
Yeah. I mean, it's important. I mean, when things are all being bought up by the same companies, that you kind of do support alternative networks, where you can get news from different sources, because it's up to you to kind of curate your own knowledge of the world, I think.
Well, none of us like to go hard on stuff. Maybe I have in the past, but I think it's important to understand that, yeah, I mean, to have real people that can respond in real time in our world right now, I think it's important.
I could not think of a more perfect segue to talk about the David and Goliath struggles that are happening in the crowdfunding arena right now. With big companies like Hasbro, the biggest, in fact, muscling in on what was an avenue for independents to get their toy projects off the ground. There's so much to talk about when it comes to the HasLab, and I'm sure absolutely everyone's had enough by this point. But I have been devouring opinions. These are very interesting times we're living through right now. We're at a crux in like toy history where like anything you want can happen. You just have to vote it in, vote with your dollars is the kind of the phrase that gets tossed around. But I don't know how best to approach this topic. I've got like a rap sheet of things that have sprung to mind, but I think the most immediate port of call is to just maybe discuss the final additions to the Skystriker. That being, well, Paul, you're jumping the gun a little bit. The Cobra additional figures and the decal sheet.
Well, it certainly seems that in the final hours of these hours, as it were, of these campaigns, they are introducing more items to kind of entice people to keep pledging towards these projects. And it looks interesting. It certainly is enticing. I mean, they're giving you a Cobra Commander, a Cobra.
Not just any Cobra Commander. It's Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. I think we can all agree that mirror
Well, it's
face
the only one
Cobra
they
Commander.
can do these days, though. I mean, obviously,
Huh?
we've it's the only one they can do these days. I mean,
Why?
we've discussed this before, where the hooded Cobra Commander is something that seems to be.
Oh no, I'm saying
forgotten
it's mirror face, but he's got the Mickey Mouse, the sort of the weird, very early Cobra symbol on his chest, which doesn't look like the refined Ron Rudat version.
Oh.
And
Okay.
that to me says that this figure was obviously always going to be in the initial offerings of sort of GI Joe O-ring relaunch, but by making it the Mickey Mouse, it's a highly desirable alternate deco, and they can maintain the exclusivity of this figure. The only way you're going to get a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander is to get it with the Skystriker HasLab, because yeah, I'm sure the figure on its own will be released. It's a no-brainer. You can't not have Cobra Commander, right? But it won't have the Mickey Mouse symbol. It'll have the regular Cobra deco. So, incentive enough? Because, I mean, Mickey Mouse Cobra Commanders, you don't want to play with that shit if you have one. That is valuable.
Yeah,
so this
and
is
the
a
symbol
play
rubs off
safe.
easily.
Yeah, play it safe. Pay
Yes.
$200 for your Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander.
Well, it's part of the base offerings. So for your $229, you will get this automatically. Cobra Commander, a Cobra Trooper with flesh hands, interesting, and sort of
Rave
additional
Trooper.
paint apps off the knees, and
Yeah.
Ripcord with a Cobra helmet.
Rave Trooper.
Yeah, Rave Trooper with
Guys,
the cone.
I love
What?
them glow sticks, dude. And
Nobody seems to know the correct name for those things, and I'm not going to look it up because I love keeping this kind of ambiguous.
It's fascinating.
Chris and Emily on the Full Force sort of interview settled on the word semaphore, which
No,
what did
I
he
thought
say,
he
guys?
was. I thought he was referring to the name of a character, like the code name that they could
Semaphore.
introduce for one of these new Joes. I thought that was his suggestion as a code name.
Well, Wayne Ruthell, the backseat man for the Skystriker, still doesn't have a code name. Emily divulged that they have selected one. They just need to pass it by legal, but it hasn't been announced yet.
Sorry, that was me laughing, not clearing my throat.
Backblast is already taken, so I guess.
No backblast in the Skystriker,
Peter-
I guess.
Yeah, Peter Pilot, backseat, Guys, for me, if I look at that, the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander is cool. But it's not like the main draw. For me, it's the other two
the
Cobras.
sticker sheet. I'm kidding.
No.
Okay,
it's
we
the
all
other-
agree that the sticker sheet is absolute garbage.
balls.
Oh my
Yeah.
word! I laughed
Biggest load of
and
shit.
laughed and laughed. I mean, okay, it does tell me immediately that the Skystrikers decos will be partially sticker and partially actually sort of high. They'll be printed onto the plane. Like the wing trailing edge sort of tricolor, that will be printed onto the plastic because the Cobra sticker sheet is kind of rather amateurishly trying to cover it up. Ditto with the fact that it says GI Joe on the side, obviously, of the Skystriker, and they said they just slap a no in front of the GI. Well, and yeah, they slap a no on top of the GI.
G.I. Joe.
Exactly, no Joe.
No. It's
I think
fascinating because someone asked a comment in one of the videos. They're like, okay, so it comes with the sticker sheets, but is it interchangeable? Like, will I be able to take the stickers off again and change them out so I can display my
No, you have to
Skystriker
buy
as a
two
different
or
version?
more. You have
you
to buy
know?
2 or more. Simple. That's yeah. I can't think. I mean, I'm curious if anyone is actually going to sticker theirs up with the Cobra symbols because, like, okay, we all lampooning the no Joe, but I think the greatest offender is like the Cobra symbol on top of an F-22. I mean, someone just pulled a bunch of clip art together, and you know, that was a slapdash job if I ever saw one.
Yep. Yep.
Would you
That's
say
my
that
problem. It looks
they're
slapdash.
getting desperate? Would you say that does this feel like a Hail Mary at the last hour? Is this a desperate move on the part of Hasbro?
I'm
Leading
pretty
question,
damn
Rob?
sure it wasn't the plan all along.
You know when
Yeah.
people ask NASA why they've never been back to the moon and they say we don't have that technology anymore? I don't like the fact that they're breaking out O-rings like, oh, we didn't have those molds. Oh, you couldn't make more? Like, I think the richness in Joe is still with the O-rings. You just need I don't know who that third guy was on the Cobra guys. Does he have a name or did we banter that?
I don't think he has a name yet. He's
Glow
just a
stick.
Cobra aircraft man.
I'm
mean-
gonna call him glow stick or smear.
At the risk of being redundant, how many episodes have you guys done? 227 now?
Yeah.
You need
Sounds about
people
right.
that care about details on GI Joe. I mean, it's nice to have some streamers talk about their stuff, but we got the best in the game on our side. I mean, you better step up.
I'm gonna levy a criticism at Hasbro, and I'm sorry. Like, I'm sure Hasbro is gonna hear this, and I'm sure there's other podcasts that are gonna hear this, and probably gonna be like GI Joburg's a bunch of assholes. But I do want to put this out on the record. I do not like people trying to sell GI Joe stuff to me who have probably never spent money on actual GI Joes for themselves, and who were never interested in the brand until it was given to them as a work item. I dislike that immensely. I think Emily is great. I think she's got a great on-screen personality, but I cannot believe that she's ever bought a GI Joe in her life, and it's very difficult for me to get for her to drum up excitement in me as a fan, you know, when she is clearly just being a salesperson. You know, it feels like somebody at Toy Zone here in South Africa who doesn't buy toys trying to sales pitch me on a Transformer. I just feel it's disingenuous, to be fair. And there, I said it. And I think like I said, I think she's a great spokesperson. She's got a great on-screen personality. And the last video of her I was like, wow, she's a really, really cool person. But I think it would have been nice if Hasbro was like, hey, any of you guys have a GI Joe collection? Any of you guys maybe spent $50 or more on GI Joes in the last 5 years? Well, maybe you should be speaking about the Skystriker, because I think that's fundamentally part of the problem. I think a lot of us subconsciously feel like we're being sold something by somebody who's not a real fan. Well, okay, I don't want to say not a real fan. She's clearly a fan. She loves the brand.
Ooh, they trapped you.
But they're not. She's not invested. Like, I don't feel that person's invested. I don't feel like they're smoking.
I have a problem with the way it's. I mean, if she's not invested, she doesn't know the lore inside and out. That's okay. I don't want to be a gatekeeper. She's pumping up the line.
Right.
She's adding an injection of enthusiasm, and that's something that I can't knock. But whoever's briefing her has gotten her all mixed up. Because I can recall very clearly in one of the 3 sort of videos that have recently been dropped, like, there's this confusion about G.I. Joe's headquarters being the pit, A, and that it's somehow quartered beneath an airfield, B. Now, those things are incongruous. Those are non sequiturs. If you're going by comic book lore, yes, the pit is the name of the headquarters, and it's either beneath a motor pool or it's beneath the Utah desert. Flip side to that is, if you're going by the cartoon series, yes, there is an airfield beside the G.I. Joe HQ, but it's not underground and it's not called the pit. So either they are getting ahead of themselves and there's some new lore which has not been divulged yet. This kind of new storytelling that they keep talking about in these kind of amateurish videos that has not, like, they're getting the cart ahead of the horse, basically. Or they are confusing their lore, which is unfortunate because it just serves to make people who weren't born into G.I. Joe like we were look that much more disingenuous.
Exactly.
So,
you know.
yeah. Someone needs to keep a handle on this shit.
Bart's also, saying that Rave Viper comes with a pacifier. So.
Rave Viper. But
yeah, Rave Viper.
It's like, dude, like in that one video they talk about Dr. Mindbender at the end of it, and I was sort of, you know, enthusiastically open-minded about the fact that maybe they were going to reveal another Mindbender, like maybe like a new O-ring Mindbender might be part of this like mix. So I was a little disappointed when I saw that the 3 figures were Cobra Commander and the 2 Vipers. Two Vipers, 2 Cobra Troopers. Not that I have a problem with the 2 Cobra Troopers. I really like them. But the way that, like, she just randomly picked that, well, that's actually not fair. The PR team picked Mindbender as like a showpiece for her to bring onto screen to speak about. And so, like, yeah, so the enthusiastic, more naive side of myself was like, okay, maybe we're getting some kind of interesting Mindbender deco or something that's coming, you know, with this line, or maybe they'll announce that in the next thing. And I was a little disappointed when we didn't see anything. And yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault mostly. But
the podcast that I started listening to, Audible Interlude, G.I. Joe podcast, raised a great point in the most recent episode, which was Hasbro wouldn't do this with no good rhyme or reason. There's got to be a reason why we've seen Mindbender, we've seen Giraffe Pants Leatherneck, we've seen a smorgasbord of figures being brought to the table in these videos. Why?
What's confusing people is that those are figures those are childhood figures of the people doing the video. They clearly say it. They say, so this is a figure that I left from my childhood. And then there's another video where Emily brings on a figure of hers, where she's like, I loved this version of Destro, and he came with this amazing shooter.
Yes,
You know,
the
it's
disc
incredible
launcher.
that they did this back then. She's showing off a figure that belongs to her. I know this
would
is
want to
confusing
interrogate
people in
that
the
deeper,
comments.
man.
No, but that's literally what they're saying. Like, here's one of my favorite figures.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I want
There
like
is,
Rob.
there's not always a deeper reason for everything, you do realize. Like there's
No,
there's
no.
there's not a deeper connection. It's not like because you saw in the corner of the video, you know, they're showing off something. Like literally, they're trying to connect with the people, you know, out
Read
there.
the body
They're
language,
showing off.
though, Rob. If you are handling your
Yeah.
childhood figure, you don't handle it like you're holding up a product. You know, you're doing brand placement. And I know this is for like Hasbro official, and this is, you know, pseudo professional. Doesn't really look it, but anyways. But the way the toys are handled tells me that this is either archival or they got it on eBay or like a mint specimen, and they are handling it like a museum piece. I'm like, if this was your
that's-
childhood toy, your hands would know that toy. You'd have a familiarity and a kinship with that toy. When I pick up my Shockwave, best believe I don't hold it like that.
Yeah, because
Maybe
you're
I'm reading too
constantly
much
picking
into
it
body
up.
language.
People, they may be their childhood toys, but these aren't toys that they necessarily play with all the time. People have different ways of approaching their hobbies and the way that they enjoy playing with their stuff.
I'm
You know,
call that bluff.
the simplest reason for a thing is usually the correct reason for a thing.
No,
you know,
I appreciate
You're building
your
up
Vulcan
conspiracy
logic
theories. I'm not just you. I'm saying, I mean, sometimes okay, conspiracy theories are very cool. I do enjoy them, but sometimes it's just on the face. They literally just bring out figures of theirs that they loved as kids.
Well,
I
let me put it this way: from an analytics standpoint, the next time that IDW or Hasbro retweets or stars one of our community's tweets will be the first time. So, regardless of who people are, this kind of, for me, goes back to supporting network. Like,
Yeah.
so,
Like,
Cooch, here's something that I think you will get off on more than anyone else.
hello.
When it comes to Hasbro doing crowdfunding, they have an added incentive over and above the independents. Hasbro is building an incredible database on us. They are, in one fell swoop, determining the size of their actual buyer's market.
Well, hold on
Because
there.
you can have Hasbro Pulse, you can have clubs, you can have Facebook groups, you can have all the comments threads in the world, but money talks and bullshit walks. The actual raw data that they are getting by launching HasLabs for Marvel, for Star Wars, for Ghostbusters, for Transformers, for GI Joe is invaluable to a big corporate. They've got our exact numbers, how much we're willing to spend, and even, this is the real kicker, where we live. They're getting our addresses, our home addresses out of
Who's
this.
the
They're seeing the
conspiracy theorist
biggest
now?
concentrations of their buying public.
no, this is 100%
Hold on.
This
accurate.
is huge for a company like Hasbro.
You can't snoop a snooper. You know that. But I will say that here's one Easter egg. I think IDW is doing like a cartoon version comic, and it's like Cobra is rubbing a genie lamp. It's worth mentioning that Genie Energy owns IDT, owns IDW. So maybe a little deep cut there. I don't know.
I don't know. And like, but I fully agree with what Steve's saying there, because I've recently been doing a lot of work for a very big South African media conglomerate, and they do have those numbers. They do have those statistics, and we've built some of the technology. When I say we, the development team in the company I work with have built the analytics tools for them to be able to get that information. And it is actually as easy as building systems that work with Instagram and with YouTube and all kinds of stuff. So, like, Steve, what you're saying is not conspiracy theory at all. That's very
data
down the
is
line marketing,
priceless.
it's marketing
Absolutely
research,
priceless.
exactly. But also let me like also step off, because I just want to just mention, I don't have anything against Emily. Like, I think she's a great person. I don't want people to like go and turn around and be like, GI Joburg are a bunch of assholes because they like said Emily's this and that and the next thing. Got no problem with Emily. Just got a problem with how Hasbro has been using the structure, and I'm not convinced that she herself is a real fan. Not that she has to be this real hardcore fan. I just don't feel like she's ever invested in GI Joe.
So you feel more like the people above her, the executives, have chosen her for certain reasons, but the reason
she's
they
been moved
should have
from
chosen
Power Rangers
someone
to
else.
GI Joe.
Yeah.
Her Instagram handle is still Mighty Morphin Emily or something to that effect. But she's deleted, I think, all the Power Rangers material that was previously there. I don't know. We weren't following her until she became a GI Joe person. But to sort of paraphrase Mark Webber's words, that Hasbro like to move people horizontally. You know, they don't move people vertically. That you stay in marketing, but they're going to move you from Transformers to GI Joe to Mighty Morphin, back to Transformers.
Yeah, you switch accounts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't
that
have that
makes
kind of
sense for
momentum
most
and
toys.
brand loyalty.
It makes sense for most toys, but not this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it makes
so
sense for companies. It makes sense as a company decision. If someone has done well on one of your departments on a certain brand, you move them across to another brand, and they get to learn and develop in that brand. It makes sense from a company point of view, but maybe it doesn't necessarily make sense from a fan point of view, where you're putting someone who isn't necessarily a lifelong GI Joe fan. Maybe they absolutely love GI Joe now, and that's awesome. She's getting very enthusiastic. She's getting into it now, but maybe the GI Joe fan base wants someone who has always been a fan.
Well, the silver lining is you guys always got one more seat here. Hey,
that's true.
Guys,
let's swing the debate back to Skystriker.
Yes, let's talk about the guys who
do.
do love GI Joe, the guys who built that beautiful plane and the plane itself.
It is beautiful, agreed. I want to know from each of you, do you think this is the last time we would see it? If the HasLab fails or succeeds, are they going to burn all that design work?
I feel they have to do something with it. I mean, I think probably one of the most telling things, and I think it is something that we've discussed in private, probably in public as well, is that there are not corners cut, but I mean, it is made to be mass produced. I think probably the most obvious way of seeing that is in the wings. The wings are not like the original wings of the vintage Skystriker. They are an adaptation of the more recent 50th anniversary wings, where you actually plug the wings into these ports, essentially, where the wings are actually split, basically 3/4 of the way down, where they kind of fit in like that. So I don't know if that is a way to kind of make the mechanism on the inside work better, but it does make the toy's wings not look so good.
It also allows it to fit into a smaller box, which becomes
packaging has been
important.
considered.
Well, yes, it's not necessarily important for HasLab. You can make the box as big as you want.
You can make absolutely
they've been able
huge.
to ship the damn sail barge around the country. But when it comes down to packaging this up to put it out to retail, all of a sudden the size of your packaging becomes vitally important. So yes, this is whether I'm prepared to put my money where my mouth is and say that this is definitely, fail or succeed, the HasLab project aside, this is definitely not the last time we would see this plane.
Yeah,
So,
you might see it as con
result,
exclusives or maybe sort of store exclusives. I mean, I don't.
It will be part of this O-ring renaissance.
Oh, the O-ring relaunch. But I mean, the thing is also like box size. I don't think there's much. This box has to hold a lot of stuff.
Yes, but I'm saying a more basic.
It's already holding a ton of stuff before. So you don't actually have to detach the wings. I feel like there's more of a mechanical reasoning why they kept this version of the wings.
But Rob, if they offer it as a more basic presentation without the additional vehicles, without the additional effects or the stand, that's when box size makes a difference, and that's where you want to take off your wings and be able to slot them in alongside the plane, or even
take
underneath
off the nose.
Possibly,
because
probably.
If I remember the 50th anniversary,
or the
its
30th.
nose came off.
30th
anniversary.
Yeah,
it detached.
And
I mean, you can see it there in the picture that we're looking. Oh no, this is the 20. Yeah,
this is the 30th.
Oh, the
Yeah, it's
30th. Yeah, so you
2011.
can
Yeah.
see
This does
there
have the
very
seam.
clearly where you can see that it detaches. They kind of had to pull it off and then put it back on so it can fit in more easily into boxes.
Anyways, my speculation is we most certainly won't have exclusivity. If you back the HasLab, you won't be able to get this permutation of the Skystriker with all the added,
Yeah, all the
additionals.
extras, all of that stuff. So essentially, you're paying for the extras, actually.
So
But
do you
we
think?
will definitely see Skystriker again. There's no ways they're gonna chuck the tooling away as soon as the HasLab's done. This is
So
the
here's a-
Skystriker. It's a staple of GI Joe. It will always be synonymous with the line, especially when you're doing a O-ring relaunch.
I was gonna
Case
say,
closed.
so would you say that if they release it as part of a retro O-ring relaunch, that it would still retail for about $200, but instead,
No.
but just not come with the stuff for the flag? Because this is my thinking. I'm thinking that they're going to re-release this as a retail offering. I do feel that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we're not going to get all the flag stuff. It's almost like the HasLab is for the diehards that like ourselves, and for the guys who actually own a flag. I feel like all of the stuff that pertains to a USS flag that is coming with the Skystriker and the HasLab offering is not going to be in that box. I think we're going to get a retail offering that's probably going to have Ace as a pilot, hopefully. That would be cool. With the vehicle itself and the regular deco, no fancy Cobra schmanciness. And then we just won't have any of that stuff. None of the cool weapons things and whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
think they can probably do that at some point. But I think something also. So I recently watched Analog Toys, Tony's video, kind of discussing the recent Hasbro HasLab initiatives, and I feel something he said is actually quite true. Everyone and their uncle essentially owns a Skystriker at this point. They're a dime a dozen.
Steve
You can
puts up his
essentially-
hand and says, "Yeah, I got mine a month before the bloody HasLab was announced."
Well, yeah, exactly. You just got one. But it's surprising you don't really. I mean, you technically owned one. You had one in your collection. But like they're a dime a dozen. And I think yes, they may be collecting a ton of data on people, as Steven said earlier. But like you'd collect a lot more data if you knew your audience a lot better. Because another point he points out is that everyone owns this thing, produce a different vehicle, and another good point I think he made was that your presentation focuses completely on this entirely new line of figures that you're putting out, the 6-inch classified range. And your first HasLab is a return to the O-ring era. Because I see a lot of people also going, oh, why didn't you make this also compatible with the modern era? Because the modern era has a ton of fans too. But you're at a time now where you are pushing and very successfully selling the 6-inch classified line of GI Joes. But your big reveal is a vehicle for the vintage line, for the vintage figures,
Well, I
for
think it
something
comes
that
back
hasn't
to my
even come
point.
out yet.
But Rob, it comes back to my point about gauging interest. This is data capture. This is an exercise in corporate intelligence gathering.
Yeah, but if they'd done their own research beforehand and actually listened to, say, podcasts of the community, actually did
all the talk in
market
the
research and
world-
asked people beforehand,
all the
what are you
market
interested
research
in
the
getting?
world can't get them as definitive an answer as doing this crowdfunding.
No, then just trying it. But the thing is,
Who is prepared to
you
put
don't
down
have
money?
to do this before. You could literally do market research. Look at what people are saying. Put the time and the effort in to find out what are people interested in. I mean, I'm sure, yes, obviously there are a ton of people very interested in owning this thing. But then are they owning it because they want a new Skystriker, or are they owning it because they want all those extras? All those incredible things. I mean, obviously, yeah, there's almost 7,000 people who want this thing. But then also, there's so much left to interpretation. Like, why do they want this? Do they want it because of the O-ring figures, because of the decals? I think they are learning a lot, but they're not learning as much as they could have if they'd just gone out, talked to people, and realized, oh, actually, a ton of people already own this thing. I think, and we could actually produce something.
Right.
Yeah, we could produce something that people do not own. Because I think definitely, if you have not watched Analog Toys video discussing this, Tony brings up some really incredible points. Like, there's reasons why he won't buy something. There's reasons why he would buy something. Like, you're reproducing something that a ton of people already own. And why the Skeletron thing works is because not a lot of people own that original figure. And it's an update that kind of actually makes it new. It makes it brand new and interesting for a ton of people to want to own it.
See,
Why not do a vehicle that hardly anyone owns? Well, there's only ever been released once. A lot of people comment I've
a little bit
seen.
more than it's more costly on your R&D, your engineering.
No, for sure.
To make
But
something new
you'd make
than to sell us
a
something
crap
we've
ton
already
of
got.
money. You'd make an absolutely incredible amount of money.
Look,
I mean, what is
they
actually different with the Skystriker versus the 30th anniversary version? The cockpit, and then the mechanism that changes the that makes the wings fold out and come in, and the landing gear come in and out separately. That's essentially the only difference.
They
What's
are
different?
using this to test the buying public. Anyways, I feel like I've labored this point enough. This is very,
for
very
sure.
smart maneuvering on Hasbro's part, particularly on GI Joe's
Also,
part.
Also, guys, and I'm sorry if I get the number wrong here. I just want to just confirm for the Skystriker, we have to hit 10,000, correct?
10,000 backers, yes, and we're just
Right.
under 7,000 with 2 days to
Oh,
go.
it's speculation time. Okay, boys.
Okay. So
Going
no,
going
but
around the
let me.
room. What?
Yeah,
goal-
well, I
okay.
just, no, that's
You
why I
go
just
for it,
wanted to
Paul.
make a point now as well. Sorry,
Okay,
dude.
let Paul make a point, and
Yeah,
then
like-
we'll go around the room.
Why is the Proton Pack, the Ghostbusters Proton Pack, which is a much bigger item, has a fan base that would mostly make their own? Why do they only have to hit 5,000 for an item that is twice the price of the Skystriker and has more sophisticated tooling? Why does that need to hit 5,000 to be a worthwhile HasLab product, and the Skystriker has to hit 10? I say this in favor of what Steven's been saying about it being market research. They are stress testing us. They're stress testing the market. I do feel that way.
But it's also a different department, remember? Like, I think it's
I think
it's
the
different
accountants are the
departments, they have
same.
different goals. It could be, but I mean, they have different
It
goals.
costs
They kind of figure out.
$200 more.
It probably costs a lot more to make them. That's another thing as well.
I think it costs more to make the Proton Pack because
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying.
Proton
the Proton Pack is $200 extra
More.
in cost. So they are
Yeah.
making more money with fewer backers with the Proton
Yeah.
Pack. Yeah. That's,
No, that
that's
makes-
why it's got a lower threshold.
but they're also spending more money to make it.
Maybe.
Because if you look at the intricacy,
Oh, are
no,
they?
but if
'Cause
you
you
guys,
don't
have you
get
watched
one
that
with-
video? If you watch the video on the Proton Pack with Adam Savage, where they actually do a walkthrough of that Proton Pack, that thing is intricate, dude. It is intricate. Like it opens up, stuff can come out. It's designed to allow you to customize parts. It's insane, dude. It's like it
That's
leaps
why
and
it funded so quickly, Paul. It's
Yeah.
a better product. dare
And
I
they
say
did
it.
a better lead up to actually showcasing it.
It's a more special thing than a retread old thing made new. There,
Anyway.
I said it. That's
no,
Oh
you're
my
right.
goodness,
Hello,
I
this is
agree
the
with that
opinion
too.
Steven's been holding on to for about 4 episodes now.
But now you
go
want
public with it, but now he's done it.
no.
Can't hold it in anymore.
I've got plenty of reasons personal to me. I'd like to think that it's slightly less subjective to say that the Proton Pack being designed from the ground up new is there's been more level of investment and engineering and design put into it than a reinterpretation of an old classic that will survive the squint test. In a line like a lot of the basic legwork was already done with the Skystriker. They've just
Yeah.
pushed
30th
more into
anniversary,
it, more
essentially,
design, more more removable paneling. Like, anyways,
which is nice. But just
Gentlemen.
sorry, Steve. Before I derailed you, you wanted to go around the room.
well,
He wants to
the
go around the
numbers as they stand, as I'm speaking to you now, is that there are 6,870 backers of the target 10,000. Funding
Yeah.
ends in 2 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes. What goal will this campaign hit when all's said and done?
Ooh, an exact
Will
number.
they, and then coming off of that, will they extend? What are your speculations, guys? If you were betting men, now it's time to place your wagers.
Well, before I hit the ejection seat, because it is the sun is creeping, guys. I think I would say that after listening to you guys talk, it kind of makes me think that GI Joe is maybe one of the few brands that's not feeling the nostalgia anymore. Maybe we want new characters, new vehicles. But I do think, I would buy an O-ring version of Desert Rat, talking about Tony. Cheers. But no, I've always been a Rattler man, so I don't think the Skystriker is going to hit it. And let it be, let that data be collected that the fans are here. And they got cash. I believe. I mean, the Skeletron. So I mean, I think you just have to talk to us. As scary as that might sound.
That's what I've been saying too.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, guys. I'm gonna hit the ejection seat.
Boing.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, guys.
Thank you for joining us, dude.
And to all those in the chat, you guys know I'll find you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Cooch.
Cheers.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, let me put in my bet then. I hate to say this, but I don't think it's gonna fund.
Ooh,
You don't even think it's gonna hit 10?
that's a negativity.
No, I don't think it's gonna hit 10. No,
The
guys,
beauty
you know
of this
me.
is this podcast. This is a moment frozen in time, because
Yeah.
most folks listening to this will listen to it after the final bell has been rung.
Yeah, they're gonna hear this and they'll be able to judge us and
They'll
comment
be like,
in the comments below if you're listening to this on YouTube and tell us like how wrong we were or how right we were.
Yeah, that would be fun. But okay, so let me give you my reasoning quickly. Okay,
good.
Here's my reasoning. Okay, I've been very public about my support and love of the Roboskull and of what Skeletron's done. So I'm not going to go into that too deeply. But let's just say I had $260 to spend on either a Skystriker or Roboskull. I chose the Roboskull. It is more exotic. It is more interesting to me. It feels like it offers me a lot more. It's a new toy. It's got a lot of great stuff happening. Cool? Okay. And we've labored this point a few times, right? Now, this is my next thing. I really, and I'm going to stress this, guys. I really want a proton pack. Like, I want one. And I will break myself to try and get one, a little bit. Like, I'm trying to rationalize spending that amount of money because I'm going to have to pull it out of everywhere, credit cards and whatever's. But I am wanting to get that, and I feel the fire of that. Now, I have to choose between something like the Proton Pack, which I have like this major love for, and the Skystriker with the and basically I got to go into HasLab, go and buy myself a Proton Pack. Okay, cool, and then also put a Skystriker in my cart, knowing full well that if the Skystriker funds, that's quite a lot of money that's going to come off my card in one shot, right? It's going to put me into like major shit. Okay, so now I have to choose between those two items, and the thing is, I'm not scared of the Skystriker funding. Like, if I had to go and buy myself a Proton Pack and a Striker now, I am not scared of that money coming off. I was 2 weeks ago when I was considering putting a Skystriker in the cart and trying to make it happen. I was like, oh crap, if I buy the Skystriker, I can't get a Proton Pack. That's the reality of it for me. So the more I look at it now, the more I'm like, the Skystriker is not going to fund. And I'm not going to get a Proton Pack either, guys. As much as I want one, there's just no way I'm going to break myself to do it. But yeah, so I don't think it's going to fund. I don't have that fear. I don't have that. It's hard to explain. It's a bit of an esoteric thing with me, but I just don't think it's going to fund. I don't have that like notion of, oh shit, I'm going to miss out. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I am weird. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Somebody else start talking, please.
I think it's wonderful that the company like Hasbro is trying to produce stuff that they think the fans will want, and actually putting a lot of effort. It seems a lot of effort into making it the way that people want it to be made, and then adding a bunch of extra stuff on top that they feel will entice people and kind of I suppose show the direction in which the company itself is trying to go with the branding of GI Joe. They're obviously, at least to me, it feels like they're obviously pushing to want to get back into O-ring. I mean, I think the fans definitely over the decades have said a lot of the time, we want O-ring figures again. Please give us O-ring figures. that's probably one of the most vocal opinions I think I've ever heard of GI Joe. I mean, yes,
Totally.
there are people who absolutely love modern era, and I'm sure they would love to get more figures too. But I think, at least in my opinion, the company moved on from that. They started to do 6-inch modern era figures now.
Which are awesome.
So,
yeah.
which is very cool. I mean, that's the direction that they're going in. It's gotten a lot of fans. They've even won me over to a certain degree. I mean, I think Spirit looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure as they go along, there'll be more figures. And then retroactively, I'll probably look back at some of the figures before Spirit and be like, that's actually a really cool figure. I wouldn't mind getting that someday too. But I think it being the
Sky
Skystriker.
Destro staring at me that's got your name on it.
Oh
George.
hell yeah, dude!
I hope you still like that guy.
That was one of the original figures I wanted for sure.
Oh, it's such a great toy, Rob.
I think I'm going to be very happy with him. He's going to be, you know, him versus.
So Rob, is
Spirit.
it funding or is it not funding, dude?
2 days to go. It being Christmas coming up, people have to choose their budgets. I don't think it's going to fund. I really don't.
That's 2 no's. Goodness gracious me.
I really don't.
Are they going to extend it in that case?
I think they should extend it. They really
Right.
should. They should give people a chance. Maybe extend it to the end of January. Just give people a chance. The people that want to actually spend the money on this, the chance to spend their money on it. Because once again, go check out Analog Toys video. Tony points out once again, I mean, I think we've mentioned it before. There are a bunch of these HasLab things coming out at the same time now. Yes, people aren't necessarily fans of G.I. Joe and Star Wars at the same time, but there are people who are. And they're trying to choose which to, I mean, yeah, and Ghostbusters, as Paul just said, there's so many things. And Skeletron. It's not HasLab, but it is aimed at the exact same market. You have to take these things into account outside of your own company's efforts to rake in the money, you know, for different projects. You have to space these things out better. I think it's not going to fund, but give people the chance to actually get it. Extend it to the end of January. Do it.
Well, I'm gonna cherry pick an opinion that I heard from Full Force Monthly. Very smart one. That by pushing out all these projects just before Hasbro released their end of year financials looks lovely to the shareholders. That's ultimately where Hasbro's loyalty lies. The people who finance them. And
I think
so
that makes sense.
having all this cash injection coming at the end of the year, they want these to fund so desperately. They want those credit cards to be charged early to mid-December. Oh yes.
I think that's a very accurate opinion. I mean, if you look, a lot of other companies come out recently with their figures, and they're very much down.
They want your money up front, man.
CBS is gone down quite a bit. Disney apparently as well. The last month or so has gone down.
Look, we don't do economics. We don't do financials, but it seems
no, obviously
like
not. But it does. It feels like a reason why you'd want to do something. You'd rush something. You know, you need to be able to please the people who give you the money. Yeah, and that's not the customers.
Guys,
I'm gonna fly in your faces and say this will fund, and not just at the base level either. This will fund all the way to Nightforce Ripcord. This will achieve
I think
$16,000.
I think that would be cool. And also, guys, I'm sorry that my point earlier was maybe just a bit muddled and fuzzy and whatever. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is that when I book these things, it's going to put a lock on my credit card. You know, it's going to assign those funds to that thing. And so, that's
sure
kind of what I was getting
I'm sure people get that.
Yeah, you know? Sorry, I know that I
give your funds to one thing or another. Obviously, if given enough time, guys, Paul would buy all of these things. You know, if given enough time, spread out across time and space, Paul would buy every single one of these things. You know?
Totally.
Watch him go.
I love the brand. I love GI Joe. I mean, that's why we do this. You know,
I hope it does succeed, but I don't see it succeeding.
I see Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander being.
You think that's what's gonna push it over? Is that what's gonna seal this?
I don't know, dude. Ray Viper's making a pretty strong case for an exclusive figure.
How much is a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander online now? And you're getting a straight arm, not a swivel arm. I'll have you know.
Okay, so I just want to mute.
Paul's muted. What?
Interesting.
me
I'm glad he
alone in my
told us. I'm
thoughts.
glad he told us that he had muted.
I think
Um,
people are scrambling to come up with Scratch as we speak.
So do you feel it's more about the O-ring figures than it is actually about the toy?
Well, if you
Is
have
that
to
what
break
people are
down
happy
the
to spend money
set,
for?
if you have to break down the set, as a lot of folks have done, and I find it problematic to break down the set this way, but if you're charging $20 a figure, the financial sense is made immediately. That's 5 figures in the base offering. That's $100 lopped off the price immediately.
And then you're getting a modified
Skystriker and deck
Skystriker.
vehicles for $130 and a stand and the blast effects, which I hate blast effects, guys. They would sit in a box. I feel rocks for that shit.
Hit it with a UV light; it might change your opinion on it.
Shut up,
Yeah.
Paul. I'm not interested in taking pictures of my fucking things. I wanna put
Yeah,
it
but
Oh
like,
shit!
yeah,
he's
but but
he's unmuted. He's back, guys.
but a lot of
enticed
toy
him.
photographers are very big into that, and blast effects are fun things to have to hand instead of having to
I think
make your
definitely
own.
depending on how you play with your vehicles, blast effects are a lot of fun to have.
Whatever. We're getting sidetracked. This is just
Yeah,
my
Anyway,
disdain for
guys,
blast
a
effects.
Mickey Mouse Cobra
Yeah.
Commander, straight
Alrighty.
arm, complete file card with a gun, and the
Completed
Mickey Mouse
listings?
and the Mickey Mouse symbol is pristine,
Yeah.
is $508.
Oh, is that before
Has it
shipping?
sold? Is that
It hasn't
sold
sold.
listing?
No,
Send
so
them the
I've
link.
just
Go to
seen one.
completed listings, please. You can ask as much as you want for a figure. It all comes down to what someone's prepared to pay.
Well, I saw a
Send Steven the link. He wants it.
Okay,
No, I
well,
don't want
I'm-
it. I've never had a desire to have Mickey Mouse, but if I was a completionist or if I had just run out of things to buy and I wanted one that I could actually handle without being terrified of it falling off my shelf and shattering, this is your chance. It's pretty huge. It's a big, big deal, guys. This will
Yeah.
fund. On the strength of that alone, it will fund.
Yeah,
Might even get Scarlets. I might be getting cold feet about Night Force Ripcord as well. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see some insane movement in the next day or so.
so if you reckon the
out.
Mickey Mouse, so you reckon the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander is the thing that's going to take it over, which justifies what Rob had to say. Oh, not justifies, but then Rob, then that's them doing their research, because then they obviously
I think that is
felt
true.
that
So they are actually
yeah.
doing research. They're just not doing the type of research maybe I would like them to do. You know, to actually like reach out and I mean they're doing the not to be mean towards them, but they're doing kind of like the I don't know, like the mean research. It's like they're like psychologists and they've discovered the trigger that kind of makes someone do something they don't want to do.
You mean the stuff Uncle Philip K. Dick warned us about? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're doing that. But not that I'm saying they're doing that. It's just fascinating that they kind of add something that they absolutely certain that is going to drive people insane and will make them want to buy this.
Look, if you want the jet, you can flip the figures and get the jet's value back. If you want the figures, you can flip the jet and get the figures value back. Like, this is a watertight
It's
deal.
a win-win.
If you can come up with the Scratch right now, you know, it's a no-brainer. I've said that enough times on this podcast, but that's why I think that I'm right and you guys are wrong, and this is gonna fun.
Well, I'm curious to see how this goes down. But like, despite any like
part of me
negative
wants
stuff
it to fail because I don't want everyone else to have this cool toy that I don't have.
that you can't have. But I think
that's very childish. And
despite any
infantile, and
negative stuff that
I
I
don't
think
really think that.
I think I've said, I mean, towards this thing, and not wanting it personally, I think it's fantastic that Hasbro is attempting to do stuff like this. Is actually trying to kind of like appease people who want Orin figures, and I'm glad that they're trying to actually make figures in that line again. I wish them all the success for the classified line. They're knocking it out of the park for the people who are fans of that. And if they are starting to try and move back into O-ring figure toys, I'll be there. I will buy those toys. So I'm very excited for the future of GI Joe at this point. If this doesn't succeed, don't take that as like a negative. Take it as like the starting block and go from here. Keep going, Hasbro.
I would just love a commemorative set of the original 13, redecoed. That would be nice.
Yeah, but now we're
Because-
pushing for like special sets and things. I just want figures on shelves. I want another 12, 14 figure set series.
If
That's what
only.
I want. I don't want special sets. I don't want like Brazil mission, and here's the 12 figures from Brazil, and here's the figures from this comic book that you loved. These repaints and versions. I just want new lines of O-ring figures on shelves.
I want GI
make me
Joe
feel
to
like a
enjoy the
9-year-old.
kind of. Well, I want GI Joe to have the same kind of distribution with this O-ring relaunch as Transformers and Masters of the Universe
Yeah.
classics have.
That would be
I want to be able
awesome.
to go
Do you-
to the bloody toy store and buy O-ring Joes. I don't think it's going to happen for us, unfortunately. And I raised this point on one of those Hasbro Pulse video comment threads. I said there was a comment about it being unfortunate that the HasLab only caters to the UK and the US, to which I got, I'll say it. I got a little bit snippy, and I said,
Lol.
it's a pity that Hasbro got us hooked on this brand in the 80s and 90s and haven't catered to us since. Well, Hasbro
Yeah.
saw fit to take down my comment as spam.
Whoa.
Thanks a lot. Spam.
Boom.
That's the reason. Okay.
Apparently, the rest of the world is spam to America. Apparently.
I'm not American to
Oopsie.
Hasbro.
Spam in a can. Anyways, that was very telling that I was being silenced. The guy who commented ahead of me wasn't, but whatever. Like I say, I was getting a little bit snippy.
I think it's
but,
more to do with you being in Australia. They don't like Australians.
censorship, man.
Dude, like, no, but that is an infuriating thing. A little bit of sympathy for the devil here. Maybe I shouldn't have phrased it that way. Hasbro is in a place where, and Ryan Sweeney said this really well. He asked the question, are G.I. Joe fans our own worst enemy? And I'm inclined to agree that we are, in a lot of ways. I think we've actually been quite spoiled as a fan base. We've had a lot of really great G.I. Joe product that has come at us in bursts. And Hasbro, if we are honest with ourselves and actually look at what Hasbro's done with GI Joe over the years, they've done some pretty amazing stuff. Like it or not, New Sculpt era brought in some new charm for GI Joe. Modern era brought in some very fresh and new ideas. It excited the hell out of me. It still excites the hell out of me. I love the modern era GI Joes. So we've gotten a lot of that, and if you compare that to like other big 80s brands, that also have a lot of love behind them, things like Thundercats, things like Motu, they haven't enjoyed as much success in being relaunched and reimagined until recently, and Hasbro is probably sitting there going, well, shit, who do we make happy? Because then they do retro O-ring figures, and everybody's like, oh my god, retro O-ring figures, but there's something wrong. There's this like small detail wrong with the Skystriker. I'll be honest and say that I'm guilty of making a few remarks against the Skystriker, most notably the intake screws. I think after the third generation of Skystriker could definitely have that removed. Anyway, but I mean, like, and then you got guys that are saying like, oh, it should
Instead, we've got
accommodate
even more screws on this new version than ever
exactly
before.
right, all the screws,
The
and then we have.
underside is very pimply.
And then we have guys like Hans, who very justifiably feels that it should come with this interchangeable cockpit to accommodate modern era figures. And why not? I mean, Skeletron's doing something similar to that. And then you got a whole bunch of guys going, we want a classified size Skystriker, to which my response is, how are you going to play with that?
Paul, this is the kind of the epiphany that I've just had. They are sizing up their dedicated O-ring following by not making this adaptable. Like at first I thought, oh, it's an oversight and Skeletron have won over on Hasbro by making the Roboskull adaptable. Well, of course Skeletron want to make it adaptable. They want to cater to as many scales as possible. But a big corporate like Hasbro, which already has a thriving classified line in 6-inch and have decided to pull the plug on the 4-inch retro collection, they want to know the exact scale of their 3 3/4-inch O-ring following. So they have either
Pardon the pun.
incidentally or very, very deliberately made this O-ring exclusive. They've excluded the modern era G.I. Joe construction. And they're testing those waters, man. It comes down to it. That's my byline for this episode. We are being tested.
Wow. I feel like this has been a very emotionally charged podcast.
And
Yeah.
I'm dying to get into the after party with our patrons and
Yeah.
check this out. So if you want to be part of the Berg Force, ladies and gentlemen, it'll only cost you $3 a month. You get invites to our live recording sessions, and we chat afterwards.
You get
That's
to
in our
join all
sales
these
pitch.
amazing people.
And these amazing people who are now joined by Dave C, SFTP, and GI Claymore. Welcome to the Berg Force, guys. You're in the Berg now.
Yeah.
Stories
And,
from
thank
the
you.
pit.
And that means that you guys have got access to our live audience recordings when we do them, and you get to join our after party, which is a lot of fun. We use words
they're
like
convenient for you
crack
as
strings.
well.
We should really shop around for a new time slot because I think we've dwelt on this one long enough, and it's brutal to our folks in the US. So
I think
if you are wanting to join Berg Force, but the timing of our recording sesh doesn't line up with you, don't worry. We are going to make some amendments moving
will try
forward.
anything.
Yeah.
I will
We
wake
will
up
be
at 9 p.m.
shills.
at night. It's
I
fine.
want
No,
to be a shill for Hasbro. I mean, like Roboskull, like Skeletron were kind enough to send us T-shirts. If Hasbro even gave us the time of day, I would
Yeah.
They
shill
send
for
me
this
a cap.
Skystriker.
Send me a cap and I'll
No,
say,
just don't delete my fucking comment.
make GI Joe
assholes.
great again. Send me a cap like
Yeah.
that and I'll
Oh, God. Rob.
Anyways,
But actually, Steve, good point.
Cool.
If they could like reach out and touch us, that would be fantastic. I mean, we've
That'd
only
be
got
so cool.
227 episodes of this, hundreds of videos full of content. You know, we've made some fantastic stuff with GI Joe toys, and yet Hasbro hasn't even
Paul?
jumped onto their keyboards. It's
But
we
that's-
fly
that's
too
something,
close to the
but-
flames, my friend.
But Paul,
We
that's
fly-
something that Cujo has always said, that Hasbro is not interested in new media. They're
Yeah.
interested in, I mean, they are obviously, but they're producing it themselves. You know, they have a YouTube channel. They're trying to connect, and they have been connecting. I mean, full force. I mean, interviewing Emily. I mean, that's fantastic. But like, they're not interested in the general setup of new media and the,
Actually,
the
that's a
wider...
good point.
Yes,
That is
they-
actually
he
very
got
cool
Emily
of
on
them
his
to,
show. I mean, that's
which is
that's
awesome. Nice one, Chris.
I think that
if you're
is
listening
so
to this.
cool, and it was a very
Yeah.
cool interview. I mean, they had good chemistry. They kind of talked a lot of nice, interesting points. But like, but that's only their foray now. Like as you said,
Yeah.
we've had over 200 episodes. Almost how long have we been doing? 10 years.
Guys, I'm
taken a
perfectly
long
happy
time.
being an underdog who doesn't really get noticed by big corporate. We get to
Yeah.
say whatever the hell we want about them.
No, for
and
sure. I
we
mean,
use air with
sponsors
impunity
definitely
because
does
they will never
change
listen to this, right?
the
Right,
way that you can
Hasbro?
do
You'll
things.
never listen to us. You aren't
Well, they
listening
can
to us
listen to
right
us.
now.
It's
Anyways,
free to listen to us.
I
you know. But anyway,
I have a sort of a closing swipe to take, just in
Oh.
case you were still doubting that we would see this Skystriker resurface with or without the HasLab failing or succeeding. You expect with a HasLab crowdfunder that it's something special, one of a kind, and there's exclusivity. Well, case in point, the Hero Quest board game or RPG game that was a HasLab. Immediately after it funded, it was released in a different permutation for a slightly inflated price on Hasbro Pulse. You could buy in.
were.
I don't think it came with all the extras. It certainly wasn't as special, but if you were looking for the basic product, it was made available to the public, even if you didn't back the HasLab. If you missed out, you didn't miss out. So, ditto with the Skystriker.
Well, I
If you're
don't know
worried-
if it's our talk about this or something, but the campaign has gained an extra backer during the time we've done this podcast. So I don't know if that's us. Is that us encouraging people to go and get this thing? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
A whole backer. Awesome. There we go. Steve, they're getting close to your numbers there, dude.
Hey, look, if we've given you
I'm just
food
being
for
cheeky.
thought, then this podcast has achieved something. I've certainly enjoyed bantering about it with you, gents, and now I look forward to bantering about it with the wider Berg Force membership.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So
After party.
we are out of here, boys. This has been great. Vote with your dollars, guys. Be true to yourself.
Yeah, choose for yourselves what you want to do. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
people have positive, negative opinions about this thing, take in what they're saying, choose what rings true for you, and do what feels right for you. Buy it, don't buy it.
Don't be bullied
decide for yourself.
by
Yeah.
opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, think
Like,
for yourselves. This is
it's going to
so
be okay.
important.
It's just another toy. Okay? It's just another toy.
Think for yourselves. 227, guys. Sky striking out.
All right. My name's
Hey.
Steve. Paul, Rob, we're out, boys.
Far out.